Hello there, Mr. Hartman.
Hello,
I wanted
Kenyatta.
to, I think you probably know, knowing me as you have gotten to, what I want to discuss, and that's the Amber Guyger case. I know.
Now, just for people who don't know what you're talking about, just in case there's anybody who wasn't paying attention, she's the white cop who walked into the wrong apartment and murdered Bothom Jean, a black man who was sitting in front of his TV eating ice cream unarmed in his own apartment, killed him dead, and was just sentenced, was convicted of murder, but only got 10 years. Back to you.
Exactly. And of that 10-year sentence, she's eligible for parole in 60 months, which is generally what the average car contract is if you buy a car. Right. And she will get that. She will get that parole. I know that there are all kinds of things going on in the world, Tom. I mean, from terrorists with China, we got trade war. China's got ICBMs that are hypersonic that can evade U.S. radar, situation in Syria, impending recession. We've got all kinds of issues. But what I do want, because I know how smart your listeners are, I do want people to stop and think that if you are black in America, and this has gone on for 400 years, since we were forced to come to the shores of this continent, and you wrote a beautiful book that discusses this in the hidden history of guns and the Second Amendment. You talk about the slave patrols and the evolution of policing in this country. And this has happened to us for 400 years. So while everyone else is wringing their hands with all these things going on in the world, which as a black person in America, I live in the world too. However, I live in a world, my world, is a world where right now some uniformed thug can kick down my door and kill me and my family and probably get away with it.
All right.
And that keeps us from the broader discussion. I wanted to say this too. Not only did Amber Guyger, this person who was sexting her partner, who was on the wrong floor. And one of the things, and I know you've had some police training, Tom, and you know that I've had to spend some time in law enforcement. One of the first things that happens is you are always being taught to be aware of your surroundings. I remember a field training officer who would, take the patrol car and then make a bunch of weird turns. And next thing you know, I'm down some alley somewhere, and he'd yell at me, "What block are we on? What other block are we? What direction are we going?"
Right.
That's the first thing they teach you.
Yeah.
How in the world were you on the wrong floor?
Pardon me.
I mean, no, it's okay. But I mean, how was she on the wrong floor in the wrong apartment? It would look different, smell different. She said she tried her key. The door was ajar, and she saw a large silhouette, and she blew this kid away as he sat in his living room eating ice cream. Understand the irony. Living room. His living room became his death chamber, and she got 60 months for that. Now, what I want you and your listeners to do is juxtapose that. That's a black man that does that to a white individual. Do you honestly believe that? Then, let me just say this, then the star witness in the criminal case ends up dead within hours of her sentencing, and they say that it's a result of a drug deal gone bad that erupted in the gunfire. Now, this kid said Joshua Brown had told people, "I'm afraid. I think they're going to kill me." You really believe that, knowing he was under surveillance, knowing that the cops were angry with him for testifying, that he was going to get involved in a drug deal? Tom,
or even if he was, that he was necessarily killed by the drug deal people. I mean, it's I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility. And were this 30 years ago, I would say the realm of certainty that the one eyewitness to this whole thing who testified against Amber Guyger in court that led to her being convicted was actually assassinated by the Dallas police, or was it Houston?
Oh, there's no doubt about it, Tom.
I mean, it makes sense to me. I can't make that charge because I don't, the reporting is that that's absolutely not the case. But certainly, I mean, we both know that if this, even a decade ago, I mean, even before the cell phone camera thing became a thing, it would have been a certainty in my mind.
How often, Tom, have we remember the first time, I know you don't, the first time you and I ever spoke was almost 5 years ago, and that was the result of the Michael Brown shooting. Oh, yeah. And then suddenly, came the body cams, but look at how many shootings there have been, and always of black people. The slave patrol, always of black people mainly, and look at how many of those cameras suddenly stopped working at crucial times to this day.
Yep. Yep. So, possible solutions, Kenyatta, other than waking people up? I think a lot of that's going on right now, and you're participating in the process, but where do we go next?
I think we are at this point in time. I would like to see federal marshals in every police department, major police department in this country, where there has been a system or a history of police abuse. And it doesn't always have to result in death. There's a soft police abuse that black people in this country endure every day.
Sandra Bland.
And what was the first thing? And just like this guy, Joshua Brown, what was the first thing they said about Sandra Bland? Discredit her. She had marijuana in her system. Trayvon Martin had marijuana in his book bag. Always that.
Right. Yep. No,
it's the same playbook over and over. And I just wanted to share with you, and thank you for the time, how frustrating this is, because it's almost like I live in a country where people don't care.
Yeah.
You know, and it is, you know, and I think a lot of us would like to fully partake in our American democracy. But how?
Yeah.
How? I'm not concerned about people in Syria right now. I'm concerned about some idiot kicking down my door and blowing me and my kids away.